Welcome back to the Make Time for Success podcast. This is episode 33. If you've got a lot of ideas, but you don't know how or when you're ever going to implement them, this episode is going to get you off that thinking treadmill and back into action. My special guest, ALoN David, is not just special because he's a prolific creator of opportunities, businesses, and his 90X goal planning system, but he's also special because he's the first man ever to be interviewed on this show. My past students and clients have loved learning from ALoN because he's a font of wisdom and strategies for setting and achieving your goals. And he's just a genuine communicator and person. So grab a pen and a piece of paper and let's dive into this special episode now. Hi, I'm Dr. Christine Lee, and I'm a psychologist and a procrastination coach. I've helped thousands of people move past procrastination and overwhelm so they could begin working to their potential. In this podcast, you're going to learn powerful strategies for getting your mind, body, and energy to work together so that you can focus on what's really important and accomplish the goals you want to achieve. When you start living within your full power, you're going to see how being productive can be easy and how you can create success on demand. Welcome to the Make Time for Success podcast. Hi, everyone. I am really excited today to welcome my good friend and fellow entrepreneur, ALoN David, to the show. He is a goal-setting expert and an entrepreneur and the creator of the 90X goal planning system. And again, I'm so excited to have you here, ALoN. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Could you tell our audience a little bit about how you got to be a creator and your history in business and a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So my name is ALoN. I'm the creator and founder of 90X. Wow. I mean, as long as I remember, I've been in business. I mean, at least for the past 25 years. I mean, when I moved here 26 years ago from Israel, I've been always in business. I always created something from nothing, pretty much. Something that existed. Maybe I made it better, but I've always had my own system, my own way of doing it. And in 2017, I decided to go all in and create the 90X goal planner, which back then was only one option with two different colors. But like every entrepreneur, and I didn't even know what entrepreneur was until I created my system because, I think once you create something from nothing, that's what an entrepreneur is, in my opinion, at least. But I procrastinated like everybody for 3 years. And I was like, I was a photographer back then, which I also started from zero. And I did construction before that, where I started from zero. And an insurance business, where I started from zero. So everything I did was always zero, and I always worked for myself. But 2014, the idea came, I need to take my system, the way I've been developing my businesses, and create a planner. But as we all procrastinate, or at least I did, I, started talking to myself and who am I to do this? Who's going to buy my product? I'm not an expert. Introduce me as an expert in goal setting. And I believe that now. Back then, I was like, what? Are you crazy? There's no way. There's 10 times more people than me that are better than me. And just, that's what we do for 3 years. And I'll just use his product and that product, anything not to do mine. And that's really what I think most people struggle with, is they don't believe in themselves highly enough that to actually go and create a product. And after 3 years of procrastinating, I decided to then eventually, just go ahead and create my system and just create the planner and just go all in, not wait for it to be perfect and do whatever I need to do to make that happen. And one of the first steps that I did is I hired a coach. Most people don't believe in that, but that's the first thing I did is I hired a coach that can hold me accountable. So this way I can not make this happen and just go all the way. And that's the first thing I did. Hired a coach. Second thing is I work from worst case scenario. What's the worst that can happen if I put this product out and nobody buys it? I kind of put the analysis, okay, I'm going to have 1,000 planners. It's going to cost me about 10 grand total with my coach. Waste of money, great, but at least I tried. That's the worst that can happen because that's it. What else can happen, right? And then the upside is, where we want to take it. That's the way 90X was born, and that's it. pretty much that's the story. And then we're here today.
Okay, wonderful. I don't think I remember you saying that you had 3 years of procrastination before. I've heard your story a few times. I'm so glad you mentioned that because maybe that is a natural part of launching something brand new into the world is feeling the fear and feeling the doubt and thinking about the worst case scenarios a bit.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think I'm the type of guy, if I have an idea, I'm going to make that happen right now, especially in the past 4 years. Like if I have something that I want to do, it's going to happen right now. It's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen in a month. It's going to happen right now. And that's one of the things that I like about myself now is that if I have an idea and I believe in it, it's going to happen right now. Where before, if I had an idea, I would sit and dwell on it and think about it and, who's going to buy it? And I'm not an expert and that guy's doing it, that other guy's doing it. But for me, it's when I started using my system completely in the planner format. If I have an idea, I make that happen or I don't do it at all. And I think as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you got to make that decision quick because if not, it's wasting time in your hard drive, in your mind, in your brain. And you're like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it next week? If you're just not going to do it now, just don't do it at all and move on. And that's the way I at least believe, and that's the way I work, and that's the way I was able to make things happen fairly quick.
How were you able to drop that delay, that period of delay? What kind of thought transformations did you go through?
The 3 years of not doing it?
Yeah, and any other delays that you might have had in other businesses?
Yeah, because like I said, I need to make things happen. I didn't come from a house that my parents when I gave me 100,000 or 200, I had money, so I had to make that decision. The transition between my construction company that I used to work to a photography, I quit the job or I got fired, whatever. I mean, I was always a subcontractor, but I stopped working with my uncle and part ways, and I found myself without a job. So I had to make that decision right now. Am I going to go into the photography business or not? Because if not, I got to go do something else. There's no, I didn't have an opportunity. Okay, I'll just go back to my parents' house and I'll chill and until I figure it out. So for me, it was always a survival. Like, I got to make it happen because I got to pay. I got to make things happen. And I think it's also when I came over here, the first 3 years, I picked up trash for $5.25. I didn't have an opportunity. Like, I didn't have, I'll just go to college and do whatever. Like, no, like, it's either this, sleep in your car, you pick, or sleep not even in a car. I didn't even have a car back then. I mean, it's always about making it happen. But more than that, it's like I said, it's like either we make that happen or just don't deal with it at all. And that's why a lot of people that I coach right now, the one thing I ask them, are you committed to make this happening right now? Because if not, then I'm not the guy for you. Because I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you so hard that you have to make that happen, or just don't do it at all. Because I'm not a type coach. Because I'm not just going to sit there and chit chat with you and pass the time just to collect money. That's not what I want to see results, and I want you to see the results. And for me, it's all about taking action and making it right now. I also believe that a lot of us put things aside, and it's like, well, we'll just do it next month because I'm too busy right now. And what's going to happen next month? You're still going to be busy. There's going to be more things coming in your plate. So there's always more things coming. And like I said, I'm a very firm believer, like now is the time of doing anything that it is that you want to do. Anything. It doesn't have to be just in business. You want to lose weight, you want to join the gym, go right now, sign up. Like, what's the point? That's why one of the things of the planner is it's undated. So there's no excuse for you to say, oh, well, I'm just going to wait for Sunday, Monday, next month, New Year, whatever. All that reasons that we give ourselves.
I love it. And I like that part of the planner because it focuses not on time, but on your decisions. What are you deciding to focus on and just keeping that front and center all the time? I like that.
One more thing to this, because I think it's very important. We often make decisions with other people. Like we had the time meeting to meet today, and I have to honor that, right? And if I'm honoring everybody that I work with, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to send that email. I'm going to send that product, whatever. But I'm not honoring myself, then what does it really say about it? You know what I mean? So that's a decision. Like if you want to do this, you do it right now. You kind of have to do a deal with yourself, which is very hard. But I think once you learn that, you can just make anything happen.
Okay, great. That leads into my next question, which is about self-doubt. Because we can show up oftentimes for other people, but many people, so many people then fail to show the same level of consistency when it comes to showing up for themselves. What do you say to people who are struggling to get 100% reliability with their own commitment to themselves?
I think it goes back to the goal system that we created. And I think it's their why. It's the reason why do you even want to do that, right? When you have a strong why of whatever your goal is, because it's a goal basically that you want to achieve, you want to do. And you don't do that because you don't have a strong why. You may be doing it because 100,000 other people are doing it, or 10,000 people, or your friend is doing it, or he said you should do that, or you saw that guy over, successful, and you don't have your own why. And I think having your own why is the reason why we do things and why we keep going. So I think when anybody is self-doubting themselves, they don't have a strong reason why they want to achieve that goal. That's my opinion.
Okay. And then you would help them develop their why in your coaching system?
Oh, definitely. It's one of the questions that the planner asks you. We can go through the system itself, but finding your why. Some people say, "Oh, just because it'll be nice to have a minute." Well, that's not a strong why. That's what other people have. Is really going that deep down inside. I think I even shared that with one of your places that we were. My strong why is to really build a synagogue and name it after my grandfather, and that requires millions of dollars. Not thousands, millions of dollars to create. So that's my bigger why. And therefore, that's my big why that pushes me to do all the small goals that I want to create to get to that big, massive goal.
Yes. And that's a deep, meaningful, intergenerational, honorable goal. I love it. So it really can ground you and keep you motivated and determined.
Exactly.
And I think earlier, ALoN was mentioning that he has taught some of my students in the past. I have students in my Success Creators Academy, and they just love it when ALoN comes because he's so clear about how to attain what you want. And that's what I love about him too. So ALoN, could you do me the favor and share with us your goal setting philosophy and the steps that are in there?
Sure. So this now, what we're going to talk about, it's doable in any way. You don't have to have to plan it. You can pick a piece of paper. You can write it on your wall. We mentioned that many times already in your academy. But the first thing is have a vision of what it is that you actually want. And let's talk in 90 days or what, it doesn't matter whether it's 90 days or 1 year. What is it that you actually want? You got to see that in your mind before, whether you want to create a product, a course, or a successful business, lose weight, buy a house, whatever it may be, you got to see that in your mind. You got to close your eyes and see that. And if you can't see that, then work on that step first before you even commit to any goal, because that's very important. Because if you cannot see that in your mind, there's no way it's going to happen. There's just no way because you don't even see what you want, right? So the first thing is envision what it is that you want. Be very clear about it. It's your freedom to create anything you want in your mind. So there's no right or wrong. It's just like, what is it that I want to create? So for instance, when I created the planner, I saw the planner completed. I didn't make it complicated. I want to see it in planner. I want to be on podcasts. I want to have courses. No. Like just bring it down to that one thing that you want to complete. Don't worry about the rest. It's going to come in. Just focus on that one thing. And I saw the planner completed in my mind. And, me using it, it was actually just going to serve me in the beginning because I wanted something to be organized. So don't worry about the rest. Once you can see that, I always tell my clients, create a screenshot in your mind, like just snap that you can go through it multiple times throughout the day. Just a picture that, if you feel like, look at, slow down, breathe, close your eyes, see that picture, keep going. And once you can do that, go through it multiple times throughout the day. We also talk about vision boards, and that's great. You can add more pictures as you go, but let's focus on that one thing. The second thing, then write down your goal that's already completed. Not, I would like to create a goal planner. I would like to create a course. I would like to make 100,000. Move forward 3 months from today and write that goal down as it's already completed as you saw it in your mind, because those two have to align with each other. Does it make sense? I know we spoke about many times, but yeah.
Yes, I understand this, and it absolutely makes sense. I think seeing it in your heart and mind, and then also making sure that you're speaking about it as if it's already completed makes total sense.
Definitely. That's, again, when I coach my clients, we go into more deeper in my members. But I would start adding to that is start showing up like that person right now. Okay, acting can be like the person that you achieve the goal, not want to be there, right? For instance, if you wanted to be a 7-figure CEO, you can't show up like a 5-figure CEO, right? So the same thing for a product. Walk, talk, think like the product is already done. Because if you can already see it, if you're writing your goal that way, there's no reason for you to show up any other way. So that's one thing. The third thing of that step is going back to that why. Why do we want to achieve this goal? Why is creating this product so important to you? What's the why? And not because, again, if your why is because it'll be cool to have it, it's another more money for me. My friend has one, whatever it is that you're creating, that's not a strong why. Go deeper, go inside, make it give you chills like like it's happening for me right now. Get the chills going, because that's going to help you when you're about to quit a week after you start your goal, and 2 weeks about you start your goal, because you're not going to see results 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later. You're going to say, this sucks. I'm just not going to work. I'm just going to quit and start again. No, that's not the goal. You never change the goal. You always change the plan. I've said that many times. You never change the goal. You always change the plan. The goal is just fine, but go down to your why, spend time with it, go deeper, keep adding to it. It's okay, but have a strong why. So when you're about to quit, you remember why you got started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're also reminding me that when you have this level of focus in your life, that it also expands the amount of time you have for the other things that aren't even your goals, the things that are also really important in your life. Like, I know you treasure your family, and you share such beautiful family photos, and it seems like you have lots of time for yourself as well, which of course is on purpose and is a creation. Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with you. Being able to focus on what's important has changed the way I show up as a person and as a father for my kids. Like, I just want to spend as much time as I can with them. That's the most important thing to me. Like, business comes third or fourth, where in most people it's like the first. It's like, and that's fine. I don't judge. I'm just saying it used to be first for me. I used to work 18 hours a day. But then I was like, okay, well, what's the point? I'm still getting to the same place. So it shifted in the past 3 years. So definitely being with my kids, more time, the more I can, the better it is with my family. More important to me than business and anything else. So I kind of shifted the priorities. So once we have the vision, once we have the goal, once we're showing up like the person, once we have a strong why, most people quit right here, this step. Because that step is, what actions are you willing to take towards the goal? That's it. That's the question. What actions are you willing to take? And most people quit because they say, well, I don't know what action. If I knew, then I would have done it already. Well, that's the reason most people quit, is they look at the action. Just write down a list of things that you think you can do that will align and get you closer to your goal. I didn't say you have to do them right now. I didn't ask how you're going to get that happen. None of that. We don't even use the word how in the planner because we really don't care. We want you to list a list of things, of action, small or big, that you're willing to do towards your goal in the next 90 days, give or take. And I'm going to give this example because I think it makes sense. I mean, most of us are used to getting to a car and drive from one city to the other. When you get, like, for instance, when I drive from San Diego to LA or San Diego to Santa Barbara or wherever, I just get into the car and I know it's going to take me approximately 1 hour, 3 hours, depends on where I'm going. And that's it. And I know that along the way, I'm going to have the gas stations, the McDonald's, the Starbucks, the rest area. So I don't have to write them all down and know exactly when that's going to happen. The same thing for a goal. If my goal is to create the product, I know that my job is to start taking small steps and move forward. And along the way, the answers will get revealed for what it is that I'm looking for and need. And most people try to get all the answers right now. I need all the steps right now. I need to have everything. It's just not going to happen that way. So when you put it in that perspective, so I'm just going to write small action. Maybe today I'm just going to look for my website URL. And then maybe tomorrow I'm just going to write down the product name. Or maybe the third day I'm just going to research for manufacturers or places to whatever. And if you were doing an online course or whatever it may be, or starting a business, maybe today I'm just going to write down, go see if my business name is actually available. That's an action towards your goal. Doesn't have to be big or small. There's just one more action. Maybe today I'm just going to see where I can host my course or whatever it is, again, people are working on. If you're buying a house, I'm just saying this is pretty much a goal that I think 90% of the country would want to have at one point is buying a house. Maybe today I'm just going to look at the area that I would like to live in. Maybe tomorrow I'm just going to drive in that neighborhood. Maybe I'm just going to look at realtors, sign up for an email, just check what interest rates are. None of those require you to do what it is, but it's just when you start doing one step and then another step and then another step and then another step, now you're moving towards your goal and the momentum is growing and growing and growing and you're going to get closer and then suddenly the universe is going to open more doors and send you some more things. And that's the way I feel the way it is to get closer to your goal. And when you're taking those small action steps that then become and create a momentum towards your goal.
Yes, your coaching is very similar to mine, where you're either moving towards it or you're moving away. And we always know the difference. We can say we don't, we can say that we're trying, but you know when you're moving closer to your goal or when you're running from it. So I love your system and it makes a lot of sense. And it's very clear why you're as successful as you are. Could you give me a sense of what building this planner and bringing it to life and to the market has done for you personally and in terms of just what it's done for your life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working. Thank you for calling me successful. I still want to be more and more. And for me, success, I mean, I want to talk about the word successful because I think most people, first of all, define what success means to you. Because I think it's very important that people understand, like, what is success means to me. For me, successful is not worrying about any bills and be able to pay whatever I need to, and then spending more time as I can with my family. That's what successful means to me. For some other ones, maybe having a mansion or Bugatti, whatever, maybe. But define what successful means to you. When I have to be honest, before it was all about having more money and making more money. So that shifted with time. The planner, what it did to me is help me help other people be successful, start a business, change their life. These are the reviews that I love reading. Is this planner helped me and changed my life? I was able to be more focused. I'm able to spend more time with my family. And those are the things that the planner has done for me. More than that, it's also was able for me to I wanted to change time for money. As a photographer, I was very successful. I was making over $350,000 a year as a photographer. And if you're a photographer, it's 80% profit, which is huge. But I was trading time for money because I had to show up on Saturday and Sunday and shoot for 12 hours and then meet with the clients and then edit the photos. And then it's no matter how much you make, you're trading time for money. And that's something that I didn't want to do, especially because I knew that no more I'm going to have any more time deposited into my bank account. So I wanted to make sure I replaced that. And for creating the planner, that kind of helped me achieve that goal. Is no longer trading time for money.
That's huge too. That's a big win. And I think by your own definition of what success is, I think you are very much a success. So I'm very happy to give you that title. Okay, wonderful. What kind of advice would you give to someone with a fledgling idea and who is just at the very early stages of thinking about this, but beginning to develop their commitment? What top tips would you have for them?
The first thing I would do, if you have an idea, if you want to create something, if you want to put it out there and say, today's the day, first of all, is commit. Are you ready to really make this happen? And decide with yourself. You don't have to have an approval from anybody. I created this and I didn't ask for anybody's approval. I just went ahead and created it. So first of all, have a deal with yourself. Say, am I really willing to do this? Yes. Second thing is, like I said, the first thing I did is hire a coach. Hire someone, and doesn't have to be in that industry of what it is that you're creating, but somebody that you like, admire, that you think that can push you and help you go forward. Hire that coach. Make that investment in yourself. It will pay back. The third thing is I work from worst case scenario because this way it helps me eliminate whether I want to do it or not. So whatever it is that you want to create, whatever the idea is, and you're in your new stages, you're starting, put that together. What is it going to cost me? How long is it going to take me? Who am I going to serve? Who am I going to help? How is this going to benefit me? Put that together and understand like the worst thing, because most people, I think their biggest fear is nobody's going to buy. I don't know, maybe wrong, maybe different in your community, but it's like nobody's going to buy my stuff. I'm going to put it out there. Nobody's going to open the email. Nobody's going to buy. I don't have a list, whatever. And you just don't start. So you already failed if you did get started. And that's really what I would say is understand what's the worst that could happen. And once you eliminate what's the worst, 99.9 people get started because like, oh, okay, that's the worst. So I'm going to spend this and nobody's great. And now I can get going. And for me, those are the steps and the advice that I would give anybody.
Great advice. Great tips. Thank you. You make me think that most people stay stuck because they fear loss of some kind. So loss of income, like the $10,000 investment, loss of time, loss of ease, because they're going to have to struggle in some way to get this new thing into the world. But what they're failing to calculate is what they're losing if they don't start. Yes. The cost of inaction is what we call it in our industry. So my dear listeners, if you have that dream and it's a real dream in your heart, it's meaningful to you, it can help a few people in the world. ALoN and I are here to let you know that you have a clear pathway forward. So go for it. Don't let your fears prevent you from bringing newness into this world. We all need your ideas.
Exactly. Fear is just there to keep you safe, to keep you inside your box and what you're comfortable with. And that's it. And you're exactly right. I would agree with you. I mean, I think people are trying to get all the answers up front. They want to know everything, all the risks, everything before they get going. And that's okay. I mean, it's understood because we've been used to being in this space of our square, our bubble that we live in, that we're comfortable. But once we step out, it's uncomfortable. And it takes time to build that habit, right? That lifestyle. Once you do something uncomfortable over and over again, it becomes part of your lifestyle. And it's just that one step. And then, I think I see this post all the time on Instagram. It's like two ladders, one with huge steps and one with short steps, right? You've seen it probably, right? It's not mine, but it's the same way. It's like, don't try to take those big steps forward. Just small steps, just one step. When we started 90X, when I started it, I was selling from my garage with my kids. They were packing in when we were living. Seriously, I kid you not. And I was working as a photographer. And my thing was always just the black and white. And now we have so many different options: the goal planner, the action plan, the launch planner, the pens, the notebooks, the courses, the coaching. I never even thought about being on podcasts. I've been on over 150 different podcasts. I didn't even know what a podcast was, to be honest, 4 years ago. I was a photographer. What the heck do I know? And just be open to receiving and meeting and networking and just don't worry about all the stuff. Just take that one step every day. Just that one step, but not this familiar step, a new step. Because if you're doing the thing over and over again, you're going to have the same results. So just a new step, an uncomfortable step every day, moving forward. And eventually, I believe that the universe is going to guide you in the right direction. And that's about it. But I want to share this, and I think it's about failure. Maybe it doesn't touch, but I think it does touch over here. Kobe Bryant, which I used to love and listen, I think I shared this with you guys as well. He would always watch his losing games, never watch his winning games. He would always watch his losing so he can know what not to repeat again. And a lot of us fear, and failure because we don't want to do that mistake again. Well, if you don't actually open up and look at it and study that, then you wouldn't know what not to do again. You will be doing it over and over. So I think that's very important to know.
Thank you. Not only did you create the 90X goal planning system, but you also, I think, market living a life with chills, that you want to do things. You want to create excitement. You want to chase the excitement. You want to develop an exciting life for yourself. So thank you for sharing all of this with us today. Could you give us a few details about the actual planner? What is inside? What do you get when you would purchase one?
So we have 3 different versions of the planner, but the whole, it's the same concept. Basically, you have a place to put your vision. So you can put some pictures in it, but it starts with what's your goal? Why do you want to create this goal? What actions you're willing to take? Very minimalistic. And then every day, it's pretty much asking you what it is that you're willing to do today to get to your goal. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm giving you very small, obviously, as you know, the planner has a lot more. If you use the launch planner, it has even more. And each planner is different. So the launch planner is for really entrepreneurs that want to focus on one goal, because a lot of us, we want to do so many things. We want to have this goal and that goal and all at the same time. And then we quit because we get overwhelmed. So the launch plan is for really that person with that one goal that want to make that happen and move the needle. But one of the things that I love about my product, and I think that it's very different, it doesn't just ask you what your goal is. It's actually going to be your accountability buddy, your friend that's going to help you and remind you to take one action every day towards your goal. It's also very minimalistic. You don't have to go to college, because I didn't go. You don't have to go to college to fill up the planner. You can just start with 5 minutes a day. And if you're doing more than 5, you're actually doing it wrong. So it's very minimalistic. Write down what it is and then take that action. I think one thing it's worth to mention, don't confuse yourself between actions towards your goals to do your to-do list. Most people confuse that. They think if they have 30 items and they scratch them off, they're so scared. And then they're like so tired. And I felt like I didn't do anything. Well, if you felt like you didn't do anything, it's because you didn't do anything. You just focus on things that don't matter, and you're laughing because I'm assuming that's true. And that's really what the planner is there for you, is to really help you separate the two. To-do list is things that anybody else could do for you. You can delegate, or maybe don't even matter. I don't have a to-do list. And if I have one, I hand it off to Zoe and scratch off whatever it is that you need to do. I just want to focus on that 1, 2, 3 big items towards my goal, and they have to line up. Remember what I said in the beginning, everything has to line up. Your vision, your goal, your actions, your small actions, and your why, everything has to line up. If they don't line up, you're moving in the wrong direction. And that's okay. You just have to come back to the right path. So don't confuse actions towards your goal that move the needle towards your goal and to-do list, because most people spend 80% of the time on your to-do list, in my opinion.
Yes. I think I asked you to be on this show just so I can get extra coaching from you. So thank you for all of this wisdom, the chills, the description of the goal planning system, and the description for the 90X planner. Could you describe to people how to follow you and also to keep in touch with you and how to get the 90X planner in their own hands?
Sure. So our planner is available on 90x.co, 90x.co. It's our site, and you can go over there and get your product. And I think did we share a discount code with you?
You did. You gave me the code MakeTime25, the number 25.
Perfect. So MakeTime25 is a discount code for your listeners if they decide to get one. I love to use Instagram, so it's 90X Goal Planner on Instagram. Would love for you guys to follow. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. But those are the two places that I hang around: my website, my office, and Instagram as well. You probably see a lot of photos of my kids because that's on my personal account because I love sharing those as well.
And they're beautiful, beautiful photos from this professional photographer and wonderful father.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ALoN. It's always a pleasure. Love working with you. I'm sure we're going to continue in the future. And my listeners, please follow ALoN. His work is beautiful. Thank you so much. Good luck with your goals, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Make Time for Success podcast. If you enjoyed what you've heard, you can subscribe to make sure you get notified of upcoming episodes. You can also visit our website, maketimeforsuccesspodcast.com, for past episodes, show notes, and all the resources we mention on the show. Feel free to connect with me over on Instagram too. You can find me there under the name Procrastination Coach. Send me a DM and let me know what your thoughts are about the episodes you've been listening to. And let me know any topics that you might like me to talk about on the show. I'd love to hear all about how you're making time for success. Talk to you soon.